10 highest-grossing prequel movies of all time. When it comes to blockbuster movies, sequels always tend to dominate the competition. From a broad perspective, this idea makes perfect sense. If a big-budget film is successful in theaters, studios will stop at nothing to build a franchise around it. Consequently, the popular source material is expanded into a larger story that only grows with each release. Several highly anticipated 2025 movie sequels will surely reinforce this trend. Prequel films are a different game because they usually require a unique approach. It's generally easier to come up with new content as opposed to creating old stories within a pre-existing context. In consideration of the most successful works of this genre, Star Wars has controlled the charts to a large degree. George Lucas fabricated a universe with so much potential, and, unsurprisingly, there are multiple new Star Wars movies coming out over the next few years. However, many other films of this nature have put up strong numbers and are worth mentioning. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, 2016. Given the fact that Harry Potter is one of the biggest film and book franchises of all time, there was no doubt that a prequel would garner attention. There are a lot of misconceptions surrounding how the lore of Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them connects to the Harry Potter universe. Although a quick Google search might suggest that the 2016 movie was based on a novel of the same name, this isn't quite the case. J.K. Rowling originally released Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them in 2001 for the Comic Relief charity. The prequel content is based on a fictional book that Potter acquired in the story world. After the fame of her first novel, J.K. Rowling turned Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them into a textbook-style piece of reading on which the film was based. Despite it not being a direct adaptation, the movie did a good job of capturing some of the magic presented in the original series. What's next for the Harry Potter franchise remains unclear, but there have been significant discussions. DC doesn't have the greatest track record when it comes to making blockbuster superhero movies, but with Wonder Woman, they knocked it out of the park. Although it has the format of a standalone project, the plot is a prequel to Batman v Superman, and the later Justice League Universe films where the hero is present. The movie put up strong numbers at the box office and brought a breath of fresh air to the genre. Gal Gadot was the ideal actress for the role, and she embodied the character perfectly. Her chemistry with Steve Trevor, Chris Pine, offers a lighthearted tone that complements the witty narrative. Instead of relying on the traditional superhero formula, the film focuses on the quality of the story over excessive visual effects. Wonder Woman has an upcoming prequel series of its own, titled Paradise Lost. The Star Wars prequels tend to be a touchy subject for fans of the franchise. Most of the time, people either love them or are against the premise entirely. Their reception was negative for years, and they have only become widely popular recently. Despite the poor feedback, there wasn't any doubt that more Star Wars movies would result in crazy box office numbers. In consideration of the prequels, Revenge of the Sith is often referenced as being the best. It doesn't outshine its source material, but it surely stands out from the crowd. After the first two installments, fans were excited to see Anakin, Hayden Christensen, finally make his transformation into Darth Vader. Although the story could have been more thoughtfully crafted, the movie remains iconic. Criticisms aside, Episode 3 gives an epic finish to the trilogy that ends in a legendary battle. After the release of Despicable Me in 2010, nobody expected the film to grow as much as it has. What started as a simple, lighthearted animation story has become a massive global sensation, inspiring theme park rides, merchandise, and spin-offs. As of today, there are 6 movies in the franchise, with Despicable Me 4 being the most recent installment. The events of the 2015 prequel Minions depict the hilarious origin of the beloved yellow creatures and minions. The rise of Gru continues the plot. Set in the 1970s, The story follows a young Gru, Steve Carell, as he tries to make his way into the supervillain lifestyle. When things go wrong for him, he's forced to go on the run with his little companions. There were multiple directions the creators could have gone with, but overall, it's a lighthearted movie that captures the essence of the original nicely.